Hey you guys, and welcome back. Um, let's see. Today is September the 28th. I believe it is. What's today? Wednesday. Yep. Today is Wednesday, so I decided to come back because I went to the thrift store over the weekend and I picked up a few items and I just kind of wanted to show them to you. Especially for those that are just started and you're trying to figure out, if you're going into the clothing part of it, which is real competitive, but it doesn't have to be, because that's just one thing that we all need is clothes. So anyway, I picked up some brands. I'm not really sure if they're like good brands, like high end or low end as far as that, but I do know when I picked them up, they look nice and something that I can list at like a reasonable price because my prices are I guess my type of customer is the average customer. Like I don't really list a lot of things that are super, I don't really shop for things that are super expensive. Now, if I come across something that's on the high end side and it's reasonably priced and I know that I can flip it and make a lot of money off of it, then I will. But lately, since I'm just starting out, since I'm just starting out, I just go for, if I go to the thrift store, like the first two times I've been to the thrift store, the second time being over this weekend, I try to look for things that look decent, that look, that they could cost a little bit of money in retail stores like Nordstrom's or, I don't know, Banana Republic, stuff like that. Those are kind of about the things I kind of look for. I don't do, if I come across something that's expensive like a Chanel, Michael Kors or something like that, then go from there. But for the most part, I price my items in a reasonable rate where it's not too low, but it's not too expensive. Now I do have some low price items, and that's just because they were I didn't feel that that they should have been priced any more than that, being that they were pre-owned and things like that. But anyway, so what's been going on with you guys? How is everybody doing? Are there any new resellers that currently view my videos? And if so, what are some of the things that you might have learned in your journey so far with reselling on eBay? Because we can all learn from each other, and I basically telling you guys about my journey is also a learning process for myself. Sometimes it brings up questions that I need to research later on after I'm done telling you about it, and sometimes it jogs other creative thoughts. So comment below and let me know how your journey's been going so far. So anyways, hold on just one second, you guys. Okay, sorry about that. I'm sitting down here in my living room because I got my laptop plugged up to the Ethernet cord. I just finished doing some training online. But anyway, so I was looking at my video, the last video I posted, and I didn't realize how sleepy I was because there was some things that I was saying that probably didn't make any sense to you guys. It was probably like I would start a point and then venture off into something else. I don't know. So I just want to apologize for that in advance. I know one thing that I had lost my thought about. We were talking about photos. And like in mid sense, I forgot what the whole point of me even mentioning that was. But the whole point of me mentioning, I remember now, is that while watching other reseller videos, they give some pretty good advice. And one of the advices that I always hear is photos. So to have some good photos, and I don't have any special photo equipment or anything like that. I use my phone, and that's pretty much it. But I did go back and I looked at all my listings, and I was like, well, I had to ask myself some questions, because when you're doing this and you're not thinking of it as a hobby and more so thinking of it as a business, all your business senses start to kick in. So the first thing I had to ask myself was, were all of my listings uniform? Like, did they all have the same background? Like, was it just, when you go look at my listings, did they just look kind of all over the place? Now, I don't have a store, so I can't, or an eBay store per se. And I know that one of the perks of having an eBay store where you're paying a fee every month is that you get to categorize, um, is that you can categorize your listings and things like that. If you don't have one of those stores, I haven't figured out how you can quite do that yet, or if that's even available. So when you click on see all my listings, there's just all of my listings. So I figured since it was like that, the least I can do is have them all look the same as far as the background, because I had just random. I had a few photos where I took a picture of the item on the wall, but during the daytime, the natural lighting is wonderful for photos. But at night, when the sun starts to go down a little bit up in my room, because our window faces a whole lot of trees and stuff, that kind of takes away from the natural lighting. So when the lamp is on, the backdrop kind of looks yellow, even though the wall is white. And that's how some of the photos were coming out. Um, and uh, and then I had another background where I was taking photos on top of my bed. So my background to my listing would be the comforter on top of my bed, and that's black and gray. So I had a couple of photos where some of the pictures where the background seemed to be yellow, some of them were white, because they were taken in good natural lighting. Others had like maybe a light bulb glare on it from a lamp that I might have used for lighting, um, and so on. So I wanted to make them all uniform. So I thought that that was a good idea. And what ended up happening was I went to fix a lot of those photos and just started retaking them, even though I'm doing double the work. But I wasn't thinking that photos were such a big deal when selling on eBay. Um, and it is, because it helps you get more sales. Like, I've experienced that right after I put in my head, well, I need to go back and clean up all of my photos. A lot of those photos that I redid, I ended up selling like a few days later or the next day. So, um, I, and that was crazy to me. I was like, wow, just the change of a photo can make a huge difference. Um, so yeah, I would suggest that, I use my phone. I have a, where's my phone at? Oh, this is my phone. I have a Galaxy, I forget what this is. Is it a 7? Something like that. I think it's a 7. I upgraded from a 4. But it's an Android. So, I mean, it takes really good photos. They're pretty clear. I've done videos using my phone. You know, so I think, excuse me, I think it's like all in the lighting. I think that's where you get your best picture, is if you have really good lighting. Now, I'm not saying run out there and go get, all this fancy professional equipment. You can work yourself up to that. But for right now, just, keep it as simple as possible, and it'll still get the job done. Another thing that I've learned recently here, and this just happened, was it last night? No, it was the night before last. I actually got a request for some measurements. I wasn't sure on if I should be placing measurements on my clothing listings or not, but I suppose if you don't want to get a whole bunch of emails with, well, how long are the sleeves on this shirt, or what's the neck to hem, or whatever like that, if you don't want to get a bunch of those questions, then I would guess you would just go ahead and put it in the listing. So I did get a question about that, and I'm glad I did, because it also brought to my attention that I did not know how to measure shirts and stuff. I was in a class one time, about 4 years ago, and one of the activities that we did was we had to measure each other, and that was so long ago, and I haven't measured anyone since. So all of that just kind of went out of my memory. So I had to Google how to measure men's shirts, women's shirts, because I'm predominantly going to be selling clothing. Um, so I had to look up how to measure men's shirts and pants, where to measure from and to and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, okay, I've just created more work for myself. So now I feel like because I was asked this question, maybe it'll be in my best interest to go back and measure all of my pants and all of like my women's dress shirts and things like that and put them in the listing, which is cool. I don't mind because I would have rather have learned all of this stuff in the beginning, rather me have been going on at the same pace for the next year or so, and I'm then going back and saying, well, oh, let me clean up my pictures. Oh, let me go back and measure all these clothes, because by then I'm gonna be way past the amount of listing limitations. You see what I'm saying? So it's better to just, if you were like me and you had a whole bunch of stuff and you wanted to just get started and then figure out the rest later, there's nothing wrong with that. I threw all my everything that I had in eyes view on eBay, and then I started going back and doing some revisions, changing some wording, adding some descriptions, and now I'm at the point where I'm retaking photos, and now I'm going to go back and do measurements. And I'm okay with that because I only have, I think, 99 items listed. I had more than that, but I've been making sales, so now I have to source, which is a good thing. That I have to go source items. So that's what I did over the weekend. I went and picked up a couple of things just to get out the house, and they had half off on red and pink tagged items. Now today is the last day of the month, so I'm going to swing over to the Value Village and see what they have in a little while here after I get my daughter off the bus, and then go from there. But yeah, so I learned that with the whole measuring thing, and it's cool. I'm not even bent out of shape about it. Another thing that I wanted to also update you guys on about that is, I know I was kind of a stickler about the whole free shipping and all that other kind of stuff, but I found the method to the madness when it comes to clothing. You have to remember that, well, I had to remember that a lot of the clothing items that I sell aren't heavy. So a lot of the majority of them go out first class, unless there's like a clothing lot that I put together, and then I mean, not first class. Yeah, first class. And then the lots that I put together, I send out priority mail because they're a little bit heavier. And I've kind of gotten used to the same, basic prices of first class or whatnot. So what I started doing was kind of playing around with the free shipping option. So I have a mixture. I have some free shipping items, and then I have some items that I'm charging shipping on. And technically, to be honest with you, even the free shipping item buyers are still paying shipping. It's just that free shipping appeals to people a little bit more when shopping online. I am one of those people. But as a business person, I think that the confusion with offering free shipping is that you have to actually come out of the pocket for shipping. And I think that that's what kind of deterred me from that a little bit. And I just started realizing, like, you know what, I can just, as long as it's something that's lightweight, or even if it's priority mail, because I use the same type of envelopes. Like, I don't ship heavy items. So it's not even going to really be that hard for me to incorporate the shipping costs into the price of the item, especially if I didn't pay a lot for the item. So I've been doing that, and that's been working out. I haven't had any issues with that, with the whole free shipping thing. As far as getting more views because of free shipping, I think it's the same. I think it has the same playing field. I don't think that one gets more views than the other. I think it's just based on buyer preference and what they're looking for. Either they're going to pay for shipping, or the free shipping offer is going to catch their attention and they're going to purchase the product. And in all reality, they've paid shipping anyways because it's included in the price of your listing. So I think I was making it a little bit more complicated. And I think I was just confusing myself, and that might be the case with a lot of other buyers. Now, I mean sellers. Now, I do want to go back and say this. I do stick to what I said in the beginning with offering free shipping on every single item, like right when you jump in. I would not do that, especially if you don't have any capital to cover the shipping, because you're going to run into scenarios where your funds are going to be pending. So I do stand by that. Now, once you've built a certain amount of revenue or whatnot, and you've made a bunch of sales over time, if you want to play with the free shipping option just to see, if your items may sell a little faster or not, then by all means go ahead, because you have the money to cover that, in your account if something does sell that's on a free shipping offer. Whereas if you didn't have the money and something sells on a free shipping offer and their payment is pending, then you're going to have to pull money from elsewhere to send them that item, or you're going to have to go ahead and refund their money and let them know, well, pick whatever reason that they give you when you're canceling an item and all that. But I think sometimes just we allow ourselves to overanalyze stuff. I know I do that a lot. And sometimes I think we make stuff a little bit more complicated than it is. I think dealing with clothes is a little bit more easier than dealing with heavier items or items that you might be shipping internationally. I don't ship internationally, so I don't, the global shipping and all that stuff, I don't deal with any of that. But I think where it starts to get a little confusing with the whole shipping and offering free shipping is what it is you're actually selling. Because I'm selling clothes, I have some items in the store to kind of diversify it a little bit, but mostly clothes. I say about 90% of my listings are clothes. There's 5%, maybe 6% books, and then everything else is just random. So 4% random stuff. So I know that the shipping cost for clothing, if it's a t-shirt, for me it's going to be $2.60 regardless. Because it's only going to it shouldn't weigh no more than like 5 or 6 ounces, right? Now, if it weighs about 15, 16 ounces, then the more that I should pay would be $3 and maybe 60 cents, 62 cents or something like that. So it's never going to go past the $4 range, okay? So, and I know that, okay? So with me knowing that, that's how I can better price my items. When I'm pricing my items, I start from a base point. So I basically research the item. I look at what it's going for. Sometimes most of the time I look on eBay, but it doesn't hurt to look on like other websites like Nordstrom's, or just Google the brand name, and then the store that it's sold at normally will normally pop up. That's how I was able to find some of the things that I've picked up. When I Googled it, then Nordstrom's popped up or something like that. And you can kind of see what is being sold at retail. And then you go on eBay and see what it's being sold on eBay, but look at the sold completed listings to see, what it actually sold for. And then you base your price off of that. You can either pick the higher end of the listings or you can pick the lower end. It's really preference, so I pick a starting rate and then I start adding on my fees to that. So let's say, for example, I have this sweater right here. This is a New York and Company sweater. It's a size medium, and let's say it goes on for the last one that I saw that sold like this, and it was the exact same sweater, and it was black. I think it sold for $8.99. So let's see. So I paid about, I think, $1.25 for this. So my starting base, I'm gonna say, let's start at $7. Okay, so now I'm gonna add the $1.25 that I paid for. So now after that, that's going to be what, $8.25. So now I'm going to add the 30-cent insertion fee that I have to pay to list this. So what would that be? $8.55. Then I'm going to add the estimated eBay final value fee, because I think eBay takes 10% or something like that. So I'm going to add that in, and then I'm going to get my cost. I'm not going to add in the PayPal fee because you won't see the PayPal fee until a transaction is actually made. Um, and then that'll give me a roundabout price on where I want to list it. Now, sometimes I don't always list it at that exact same number. Sometimes I do. It just depends. Um, so, speaking of, so this is one of the shirts that I got at the thrift store. It's a size medium. I've just washed all this stuff. So, yes, I do wash my clothes after I get them from the thrift store to get rid of that thrift store smell. This is it's like a cardigan sweater pullover, not a pullover, but it's like a cardigan sweater. You just put it on like that. Now it's going to be small on me, so I don't even know why I'm trying to put this on. This is a size small. But anyways, this is what it looks like. It looks brand new. It's a little wrinkled up because I took it out the dryer and folded it up. But you basically can wear this over like a tank top with some jeans, or a dress maybe that doesn't have any sleeves or something like that. So I thought it was pretty cute. I picked this up because I thought that this was something that looked like it would be sold in like what's the name of that store? Like I can't remember, but anyway, it'll come to me later on. But this is a Craft and Borrow shirt. It's just a plain cotton shirt with stripes. It's got 3/4 sleeves, and I did research these, but I can't remember exactly what they were selling for. But for this, I only paid $125, so I'm probably gonna list it for about $7 or $8. This I paid $275 because it was half off of the $550, and then for this sweater I paid $175. So for the whole shebang, I paid like $8 and some change. Okay, just to give y'all an idea. Now I don't know if I'm gonna list this one right here because I actually saw something after the fact, which is crazy. I hate that because when you're in the store looking at stuff, you want to be able to see all the defects while you're in there. But you know, whatever. So I don't know. I might just end up maybe keeping this for myself, or I don't know, because look, there's like this spot right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's like a little spot right there on the back. Y'all see that? And I put some spot remover on it. I've thrown it in the washer and it just won't go away. But this is a Kim Rogers shirt. It's all pink. Button down. The sleeves are 3/4 sleeves. And it's a nice casual shirt, you know, if you have casual Friday at your job or something like that. And the last thing I picked up was this sweater. This sweater was in the women's section, but when I researched it while in the thrift store, men's clothing came up for this. And to be honest with you, when I first saw it, it did look like a men's sweater to me. I mean, you know, not trying to be funny or nothing, but it looked like a men's sweater. So, and it was, I pulled it up. The brand is called Saddlebread. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. But sweaters like these, I saw sales for about $11 or $12. A lot of people that sold these sweaters, well, the few people that sold these sweaters either offered free shipping or included, you know, they put the shipping on there for the buyer to see. But either way, when you added them both up, they both added up to be about $12. So that's how much normally this sweater, because it's just a plain sweater. They had other ones on there that sell for a little bit higher. But I was glad to see this one on there because I was thinking about putting this on there for exactly $12.99 with free shipping. And then when this sells, that basically pays for the whole bag. And then everything that sells after that will be profit. So very excited about that. Can't wait to see if what I'm going to get today. Hopefully I can make it there today, because I know stuff happens, last minute stuff, especially with the kids or whatnot. But anyways, that's all I wanted to come and show you guys, was that, and then to kind of iterate more on the photo comment that I made in the last video. Oh, another thing that I wanted to clarify too was that I made some statement talking about business models and everybody has one that fit them. I don't know where that statement came from. I was thinking about To be honest with you, I think in my mind I was thinking of business entities. Um, because for the last few days I had been trying, well, for the last few weeks I had been trying to figure out, should I be selling taxes, because I don't want to, I mean charging taxes, because I don't want to be, caught up in IRS penalties and all that other kind of stuff. And then another thing I had to do some extra research on was to make sure that I'm doing this business correctly. And one thing that I did finally find the answer was, do I need to register as a business here in Georgia? I know that it's different for every state. In Georgia, the websites that they have available where you get this information from can be a little bit confusing, because on some of the sites it talks about work from home, and then on other sites it talks about just being a sole proprietorship. So what I've come to the conclusion is, in my best interest, I will probably want to just go ahead and get a DBA. I know in Georgia you can use your first and last name as your initial business name, and you can just use your social security number um, and all that. But I don't want to, if anything were to happen with the business, I don't want it to affect my personal assets. So, like, if one day I decide to go get a house or whatnot, I don't want to, I don't know, if a transaction goes wrong, or if I'm just, if just anything can happen, eBay, just anything. I don't want it to affect any of my present assets or future assets at all. I would rather just anything dealing with business just be with the business. So I'm gonna be getting that done soon. I have to figure out, I think it's just going to be an LLC, because it's just me and the honey. Even though he's not able to put as much time into it right now, and I'm kind of doing it solo. When he does get the opportunity, I know that he's not opposed to it. He's actually kind of excited about it. I would just have to sit down with him and kind of show him a little bit of the ins and outs with listing and all that other kind of stuff. And I'm learning too, so um, no big deal. But yeah, so I've been figuring that out for the longest, and the only way you can charge taxes here in Georgia is if you are a registered business. And afterwards, you'd have to go and apply for a what's it called, like a sales tax, some sales tax something, where you're basically saying, well, hey, I'm going to be charging tax. So, and that option is on eBay. I see it when I've sold something, and it asks me sometimes, do I want to add taxes? I think it depends on how you listed it, because I only see that when I've sold an item that I've listed from my phone. I don't necessarily get that when I'm listing on the computer. Just like the same way with the required immediate payment. That was a feature that I found on my phone. And that can kind of help if you, after you've shown PayPal and eBay that that you're selling stuff consistently. I guess that's when the days lower as far as how long you have to wait for your transactions to actually go through. But there is an option that where you could pick under your PayPal payment to request immediate payment. Um, and I guess after, like I said, after PayPal and eBay sees that you're a consistent seller and all that, and that you don't have a lot of issues, then they'll start releasing your funds faster, and then that's where that setting would kick in. I don't think that it would kick in right away, because there was a couple of items that I've put that setting on that sold, and it wasn't an instant payment. It was still a pending transaction. But I've only been selling, I had to keep in mind that I've created an account back in 2014. I've placed a few items on here now, and, again on there over the year, but I've started consistently selling just in the beginning of August, late July. So, I guess over some time they will see, well, hey, she's making some sales and da da da. And so we'll go ahead and release her funds, when she makes the transaction. There was another setting that I found too. I can't remember what it was. I think it was I forget. No, I think that might have been the only one. I might be thinking about something else. But I think that might be the only one. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for that. Other than eBay, I've tried posting some items on Poshmark. I'm still trying to figure that out. I think it's just a app where I don't think you can list anything from your actual computer. I think you have to only list things from the app. And there's some parties that go on throughout the day, and you're invited to join them, and then you're able to, I guess, share your items. I haven't figured that part out yet because I've been invited to several parties since I've downloaded the app, and I've clicked join, but then I don't see where there's an option for me to share any of my listings. So I don't know. Still trying to figure that out. I haven't sold nothing on Craigslist. I listed a bunch of books on Craigslist, but there was no snap. As a matter of fact, to be honest with you guys, the books are going, but very, very slow. So slow that the honey is like, why don't we just keep all the books and put them on a bookshelf down here in the living room? And I'm like, you know what? That might be the case because I kind of want to move on from the books. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm very, very grateful to have something to start off with, and I have sold a lot of the books that I picked up. But there are a lot of those books that are just lingering, and I'm like, oh, these books, no, I want to trade them out for clothing, you know. But anyway, I'm grateful to have them, so they'll just, be there until they sell. And that's pretty much it. There's a couple of books that I might be redonating back to the thrift store or donating to a thrift store. I didn't get them from the thrift store, but that's where they may end up because they're a little bit more damaged than they seemed at first. So yeah, it's that time, you guys. It's time to go to the bus stop with the other moms. Remember what I told you guys about the whole sourcing thing? It's okay to, you don't have to tell your neighbors all of your business. But let me tell you something. If you're at a bus stop with a bunch of other moms that's waiting on their kids to come, and you see a few of the kids that, I mean, all kids grow out of stuff, so just casually bring up a conversation like, hey, is there anything you want to get rid of? Even if you, and I know this is sad, and I know that I'm sitting here telling you to just make up stuff, but I'm saying for the sake of not having to tell all your business, you could throw something in there like, well, hey, I got a couple of nieces and nephews. If you got any clothes or whatever that you want to get rid of and you don't want to take them to the thrift store, especially if this is somebody who doesn't have a car or means of transportation, help them out. Tell them you'll take it off their hands, and I'm telling you, if they just really are trying to get rid of it, they'll be glad to give it to you. You sort through it, you pick out what you want to keep, what you want to donate, and you donate what you don't want, and you prep, clean up the rest, and you list it. Simple as that. If somebody offers me something, I don't turn it down. If it can be listed, then it's going to go listed, or a draft is going to be created, because I've started creating drafts. Oh, so I remember that another place that you can source too, and this is going to sound so crazy, and I got this idea from another reseller here on YouTube, and they had mentioned about flipping items at the Dollar Tree. And you know what? At first I thought that was the craziest thing, because I'm like, well, what at the Dollar Tree can you flip? For 10 or 12 bucks or $4 or $5 or whatnot, because everything is $1. But then one day I was in the Dollar Tree, and I shared it with you guys that curl blower, hair curl blower, or whatever that thing is. It was an as seen on TV gadget. Well, it sold Monday. I shipped it out Monday. It actually sold Saturday, but I shipped it out on Monday, and I sold it for $5. Only paid $1 for it. The buyer paid the shipping. Because that was $4 with shipping not included in the listing price. I actually listed that one with the shipping price separate, so there was no free offer shipping on that. So they paid $4.99 for that. So I paid $1 for it, got my $1 back, and profit $3. So Not a lot, but it's something, right? As long as you're selling stuff and making a profit, it doesn't matter how big or how little it is. The whole point of reselling is to sell and make a living from what you're doing so that you don't have to be stuck the rest of your life, working for somebody else. You work for yourself. So anyway, on that note, let me go ahead and get out of here, grab my grilled cheese sandwich that I got just sitting warm on the stove, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.